you turn this down a little bit?
The Reuben is back for a limited time at Subway.
Can you get my leg out of your video, please?
Oh my god, it's fine. There, that is my video.
Alright,
So, I have patty here. And then,
Get everyday essentials, priced right daily. Target
I have
Dishes still wet from your dishwasher? Finish Jet Dry dries them
apple
better.
cutter,
And
apple
with the
slicer.
brilliant results from a Bosch dishwasher, your
And I
dishes
have
emerge so clean and dry, you'll need a new use for your kitchen towel.
Okay,
Finish
so
Jet Dry
yeah,
and
let's
Bosch
get
for clean,
started.
drier dishes.
Impossible
So
cleaning
we're
tests
adding another
using wipes in the
thing right
kitchen can be ineffective. Try Mr. Clean
Yeah,
Magic
look
Eraser.
at this.
Simply add water to remove burnt on food and grease. Try Mr. Clean Magic Eraser.
Why is their unlimited data so expensive? So, you're ready to switch. Switch.
Switch to Boost and get 5 lines for only $100 per month. That's only $20 per line each month for unlimited gigs. Plus, switch today and get up to 5 free
So,
phones.
you
Make it
can
easy to
play
switch.
this with the back, and then,
Get ready for some pedal to the metal. Oh yeah, high octane fun.
I'm gonna make a bubble.
Including the all-new
You guys know what that is? Oh,
Disney
yeah.
Pixar's Car 3 on Blu-ray and Sell today. Party people!
Scooch
Even lower
my whole
prices.
chair over.
Hundreds of toys now on rollback.
Little Dakota's nose was quivering in fear because it knew an
We need to go
ordinary
back a
Christmas
little.
near.
Actually, my little goes like right there.
So Dad
And then
solved the
like
problem with
move my chair over.
instead. Puffs
Just
have
like
pillowy
that.
softness for Dakota's
So
tender
now I can
nose,
sit on it.
with lotion to comfort and soothe when she blows. Don't get burned by ordinary tissues. A nose in
Jalen,
Disney
unplug
Pixar's
Nani.
Puffs.
Oh, charger, and I need mine plugged in.
Our old song was baby back, baby back, baby back. It was about rich because that
I'll
was
be
our
right back.
thing. I knew it was
I know. So let me put this again. That was a really quick second.
Stay tuned for scenes from our next episode.
Quickest sentence.
Is Sheldon Jimmy on physics with another science? I am gonna say the letter it starts with an ology. G. Oh no, that's not gonna work. A new event CBS Thursday. When it comes to
Alright,
heartburn,
so
trust
this is
the
gonna
brand
take a while,
doctors
so I'm
trust
gonna
for
pause you
themselves.
guys.
Nexium 24 Hour is the #1 choice of doctors and pharmacists for their own frequent heartburn and all day, all night protection.
It's gonna
When
take
it comes
a
to
little
frequent
bit,
heartburn, trust
so
Nexium 24 Hour.
let's skip to the other part.
At PetSmart, we're so close to
So,
donating 60
you
million
might
meals
wanna
to pets in
skip
need. That
the other
definitely feels
part,
good.
guys.
This
So,
holiday season, buy any bag of dog or cat food at PetSmart, and we'll give a meal to a pet in need. PetSmart, for the love of pets.
I was just looking over
Everyone
there,
age
guys.
65 and older needs to hear it. The flu and its complications can be deadly, especially for those with a chronic medical condition. Ask your healthcare provider for a senior
Hey,
flu
you
shot.
might just want to
Do it
skip.
today before the flu
Back.
becomes an emergency.
Ooh, dang it. I like
Lots
that.
of
It was just
vitamins
like,
A and C, and only
Need it
50
now.
calories a serving. Good morning indeed. V8, the original way to fuel your
see,
day.
all I have to do is leave
Here's
the
all new
window.
with Jason Segel and from 60 Minutes,
Yeah.
Leslie Stahl and Jeff
Dang it.
Baker tonight. CBS next Tuesday.
Okay, so I just need it in my
To
go.
home, you better get my son back. I don't care how you do it.
Pushes one agent too
See, I
far.
told you, it does like really.
We're going with go.
Danny dies. You die.
NCIS New Orleans, new next Tuesday.
Alright, now I'm gonna do this.
When it comes to meeting young Sheldon's Meemaw, better play it safe.
Right.
I don't expect this to end well.
New Sheldon's Thursday.
This is not that sketchy as you guys can
your election headquarters
watch.
is here for you with
Just
results from
breaks, but
across
if you like stretch it
mid-Michigan.
really
Thanks
slow.
for joining us tonight. I'm
does
Sherry Jones.
not
We have the very
break.
latest numbers on more than a dozen local races that we've been keeping you up on now for
And
months.
now,
We have a team of reporters and anchors in tonight to bring you all the updates from across Lansing and Jackson.
gonna
We
find
start
out.
in Lansing tonight where voters chose a new mayor for the first time in 12 years. City Council member Judy Vaughn
Representative Andy Shore squared off to take over for Mayor Bert Bonero. Andy Shore wins in a landslide, taking more than 70% of the vote. We go now live to our Jorma Durand at Lansing Brewing Company, where Mayor-elect Andy Shore is celebrating his win. Jorma, how's it going out there?
He's a new mayor.
It's going amazing if you're
Not
part of
him.
the Shore
I know.
team. I'm with
This guy.
Mayor-elect of Lansing, Andy
Yeah.
Shore. Andy, you told your
He's a
supporters
new mayor.
on stage once you realized you won. This started 9 months ago for you. Tell me about
Sorry,
tonight.
before.
Well, it did. It started 9 months ago.
This
We had a
isn't
great
like
time, talking to
this
voters
is.
and sharing my vision, my leadership style. And tonight, the
it's just
voters
like
really
the-
responded. They responded to everything that we had talked about, that they had shared with me and I had shared with them. And now we're ready to go and do it. We're ready to set up the next 2 months and then start on January 1st and go and create strong neighborhoods and create jobs and work with our schools, fix the roads and ensure safety. Everything we talked about. Now we got to go do it. I'm
Dang
excited
it.
for it.
Going and doing it, you also told your supporters it starts tomorrow.
It does start tomorrow. Tomorrow we start setting up the transition team. I've got time in the morning where we're going to collect yard signs and then we're going to start meeting. And then I have legislative session because we have bills to vote on. So it's going to still be busy. It's a different kind of busy, but it all starts tomorrow and we start the next 4 years immediately.
It's easier when you're picking up the yard
So-
signs on the winning side, correct? All right. Well, we appreciate your time so much. And there you have it, Sherry, the new mayor-elect of Lansing, Andy Shore. Back to you.
Thank you, Jorma. We're going to send it over to Aaron Dimmick, who's live in our Jackson Bureau for the results on the mayoral race there. Aaron, things got a little fierce down the stretch. How did it turn
I
out?
hate this.
Well, Sherry, after months
going
of
to Uncle
political
Danny's
drama,
funeral?
Jackson is getting a new mayor. That's right, Derek Dobies has unseated the current mayor, Bill
Really?
Jors. Here's a
What you
look at the
gonna wear?
final results from the election. Dobies was victorious, getting 55% of the vote, beating George by more than 400
No, I don't
votes.
like this language.
Dobies got a big reaction from supporters at his
Probably
campaign
would,
party.
yeah.
The mayor-elect
I
has
just
served
put
on
it
the
in
city
this
council for
because it
6
looks
years
like these
and is
can
currently the vice mayor. Dobies thanked volunteers for getting out a positive message that he says resonated with Jackson voters.
It wasn't.
Worked the streets, went door to door, made phone calls, talked about building a Jackson that works for all of us, where no one gets left behind, no one gets left out. And I think that people responded to it. I think that's reflected in the votes tonight. I want to continue to have that dialogue and be an open door to help solve some of our biggest problems that we face.
All right, thank you, Aaron. East Lansing says it's failing financially and asks voters to tack on a new tax to help right the ship. Well, Alexander Illich has been keeping an eye on those election results all night long. She joins us now live from the newsroom. Allie, what's the verdict?
Well, Sherry, this ballot proposal calls for a 1% income tax for people who live in the city and a 0.05% tax for non-residents who work in East Lansing. Another proposal would reduce property taxes from 17 mils to 13. Let's start first with the income tax proposal. Voters were not sold on this one. It was close for a while, but failed by around 400 votes. We talked with East Lansing Mayor Mark Meadows, along with a city resident who was against this tax, to take a listen to what both sides had to say.
It seems to me that the public has directed us in a particular direction. The options that were out there were set out by the financial health team, and we talked about them throughout this campaign. So we'll have to start planning to reduce our budget by about 10%.
We feel pretty good. We think that East Lansing voters sent a clear message to the council that they want the city to reform its budget before they ask for an income tax.
That's what you gotta do.
All right, let's send things to our 6 News anchor Lauren Thompson in the studio for more local results. Lauren?
Thanks, Allie. Voters in Eaton County were asked whether they're willing to pay a little more for a safety upgrade, but so far there's no official answer on whether a new 911 surcharge will be in place. With 54% of precincts reporting, a little over 5,000 voters who said yes, compared to about 3,500 who said no. Now that puts the yes vote at about 59% so far, but there are still a lot of votes left to count. Now the surcharge would add about $1.75 to all resident phone bills, so about $21 extra a year per line, and that covers both cell phones and landlines. The money would build additional radio towers for the county dispatch and also pay for new radios and pagers for all first responders and agencies across Eaton County. Sherry.
Thank you, Lauren. 4 city council seats hang in the balance in Lansing tonight. 2 of them are at-large spots. One of those seats will continue to be held by Kathy Dunbar, who snagged 28% of the votes. The other two top vote getter was Peter Spatafor, who got 31%.
Make a
We
tiny
caught up
swirl.
with Peter Spatafor at the Lansing Brewing Company for his reaction to tonight's win.
It was a great night.
Unusual
Very
size.
part of Lansing Research. I'm very grateful for all the votes we received and all the support over the last 8 months. The real work starts tomorrow, and I'm really excited
Oh
about
my
that.
gosh, I can't even swirl.
Moving now to Lansing's second ward,
It's like
incumbent
little
Tina
tiny
Houghton
swirl.
is losing her seat. Newcomer Jeremy Garza won by a little more than 400 votes to take over that spot. Moving now to the open seat in Lansing's fourth ward, there was no incumbent running against Brian T. Jackson and James McClurkin. Jackson ran away with this one, taking almost 70% of the vote. Keeping with updates on city council races, there are 4 spots on the city council up for grabs tonight in Jackson. Aaron Dimmick joins us again from the Jackson Bureau with the very latest numbers there. Aaron?
Sherry, the city council races here in Jackson have been just as intense as the race for mayor, and it looks like we have 2 new council people heading to City Hall. We're starting in the 6th ward. They had a recall election going on. Colleen Sullivan easily took home the win, beating other candidates Jeffrey Fear, Matthew Swartzlander, and John Wilson. In Jackson's 3rd ward, Councilman Dan Greer faced off with Jeremy Alexander. This one came down to less than 2 dozen votes, but Jeremy Alexander came through for the win. And in Jackson's 5th ward, Councilman Andy Fraunfelker was up against Susan Murdy, and he's going back to the city council, beating Murdy with 77% of the votes. In Jackson's 1st ward, Councilwoman Arlene Robinson won her race, defeating a man who launched a writing campaign against her. That does it for us in Jackson. Back to you in Lansing.
Thank you, Aaron. Well, Mason schools are asking voters for nearly
that's a
$70
mini book.
million to upgrade buildings and security.
See my biggest
Voters approved that bond with 53% of the vote. That decision, a little more than $280 a year for families with a home of a tax value of $100,000. The Concord school system wanted to make students even safer. They asked residents to raise their own taxes to make it happen. The district wanted to raise $5 million over 23 years for a variety of improvements. The biggest project would be new entrances to the high school and shared elementary and middle school building. Voters there agreed. The millage passed by a vote of 495 to 334. All right, Alexander Illich has an update now for us from the newsroom on a tax proposal that could affect everyone in Ingham County. Allie?
That's right, Sherry. This ballot proposal establishes separate tax limitations for Ingham County, the townships, and the intermediate school district. Now, last check was a really tight race, but with 87% reporting, the yes camp was leading with 52% of the vote. The two sides are separated by about 1,200 votes. We're keeping an eye on that race and we'll update you on our website with the latest. And the results are in for the proposal that would allow for the sale of the Cooley Hayes House. That's the building that used to house the Michigan Women's Hall of Fame. Tonight, voters gave that sale the green light. 58% of voters cast their ballots in favor of this proposal. Money from the sale will be used for improvements to city parks and the recreation system. Sherry, I'll send things back to you in the studio for results on Lansing's city clerk.
Thank you, Allie. Let's keep it in Lansing for the next results. We have the winner of the city clerk race. Chris Swope won by one of the widest margins of any local race. He took 86% of the vote to cruise on to yet another term. And we caught up with him less than an hour ago to get his reaction on getting a big thumbs up for his work as city clerk.
It feels great. You know, we have put together, I work with a wonderful team. We've put together programs to make sure the election workers are well trained, to make sure that voters get in and out on election day, and to make sure that our city government is as open as we can be.
So we've given you the results of the mayoral races in Lansing and Jackson. Now let's get the latest on 3 other votes for mayor in mid-Michigan. Lauren Thompson joins us.
That with 58% of the support, as 562 votes were cast for him. He beat out Michael Cole, who earned 408 votes, or 42%. Now, Eaton Rapids had an interesting race for